Hello there and welcome back to the Disconnected. I am here with my last video celebrating all of the amazing things from 2022 in physical media, and this is just kind of a roundup of things that didn't make a mention in my other videos that I really thought should get at least a slight mention. So I'm going to jump into these and move very quickly because I'm surrounded by so many releases that you can even see them in the corner of my screen. All right, so like I said, I'm going to move pretty quick through these and not go into a ton of detail, but I want to make sure that they get a little bit of screen time each. And some of these, they are great. Please seek them out. If you have any questions about the releases, please let me know in the comments below. Going to move fast because there's a lot here, and I don't want to take this to 40 minutes. Here we go. So first up, I had mentioned the Steelbooks video. I had mentioned that the Paranorman and other Leica Studios releases might be the best artwork that we've seen all year. And I got to admit, I'm in love with them. This is the first one I've gotten. I just got it since that video and really wanted to show it because it is gorgeous. And I hope to get the others someday because they are magnificent looking. Next, I didn't really mention this one at all, but I think Air 4444 had an incredible year, and this release in particular, it goes this way, Centipedes and Scorpions, a Nico Films duology, is remarkable. I mean, the fact that we got booklets, multiple slipcovers, the actual package on this one is maybe one of the most impressive that I've seen, potentially like top 10 ever. It is that good. It is an incredible release. The discs themselves, the movies are not going to be for everybody at all. I won't get into like reviewing them here or anything like that. The features on here are really nice. I'm glad that we have these. I'm glad that people that have wanted these for a long time can have them. But if this is an indication of the type of product that they're able to put out in the future, good Lord, make sure you're staying up to date on their stuff. I've got a handful here that are just like miracles that I wanted to bring up. So let me get the big boy out of the way here. First off, I'm amazed that a studio would do a release like this. This is fantastic. I'm glad that we got this. There is a film that was relegated to only streaming that we now have in this box set on Blu-ray, and there's a documentary, like genuinely a really good box set. A lot of people kind of hate this franchise. I tend to not love all of them. I like a few of them, but this is just really great that a studio would do this. So I'm stoked that we have it. A miracle that we finally have this on Blu-ray in high definition. Absolutely terrible timing that we lost one of the main individuals from this film this year, but this release is alive and out there for everybody to see, and I'm grateful for that. The fact that this exists on Blu-ray is genuinely, in my opinion, like a miracle. First off, that the film was even able to be made, but second, that they were able to make a Blu-ray and the studio was just like, yeah, let's put it out. I'm shocked. Speaking of shocking things, this was only on mod, made on demand disc. We have a 4K of Real Genius now, and it genuinely looks really good. Like, this is a really decent release, and one that I still amazed that it got announced. Absolutely worth the pickup if you have not taken a look at it yet. This one, people can shut the hell up already. We have The Farmer on Blu-ray. I know that there's been a lot of jokes about Dark Force and about a lot of other stuff, but I'm glad that we have it. This one, can't show the slipcover. Blue Underground, wanted to highlight that they still put out a lot of great 4Ks this year. Not a lot. They put out a few great 4Ks this year and not much else. I wish that they put out more, but their 4K quality is still like elite. They do amazing stuff. Not necessarily the film I would have picked. They did put out some others. I have not gotten all of them yet, but they look amazing always. Another company that needed a highlight, Oscilloscope, still willing to put out something like Short Bus, and as you can see, still haven't been able to watch it, but people are not staying up to date with Oscilloscope, and they really should. They do great stuff. They have a subscription, just like Vinegar Syndrome and TerrorVision and Radiance has been doing. And it's maybe the best deal in all of physical media because they put out some really like quirky indie titles that probably would not be put out on other labels. So I'm really glad that they're doing that. One that does not get a lot of attention on this channel, Classic Flicks. This is their release of I, the Jury, and it deserves a special moment for itself because this is a 4K and 3D release. There is a 3D disc and a 4K disc. I don't have a 3D TV anymore, and it depresses the hell out of me. I really wish I had one, but the 4K looks incredible, and Classic Flicks has been, slowly pumping out a handful of great things every year that look remarkable. Just a company that people should be paying attention to. Another one that didn't get a mention in any of my videos that could, I am kind of surprised by the Visual Vengeance line. This is a partner label subline of Wild Eye. And Wild Eye has been known for not great films and not great quality, mostly DVD, straight to DVD, very low budget, no budget, terrible. And a lot of the Visual Vengeance are shot on video or very low budget, but they're more entertaining and they're actually caring about the packaging and putting money into extras. So it's really nice to see. This one, mostly excited about what the future could hold. This is a release from Discotech that is a part of their Neon Nights line, and it is more for the live action things. Discotech mostly has done anime and that type, and I'm really curious to see what they could get to, and this line could be pretty exciting for them. Next, I don't feel like I gave enough love to a label that is everywhere, and I mean that genuinely because they put out the most releases from any label probably ever. I am going to show these first few just to highlight. They're Kino Lorber. They're 4Ks this year. We got Tropic Thunder, Indecent Proposal, Dress to Kill, and Stanley Kubrick's The Killing. That's only a handful of amazing things that they did this year. They also got Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. They put out another Stanley Kubrick 4K, Mystery Men, handful of just amazing 4K releases that are supplemented by some other really great things, like these incredible continuations of the Night Gallery releases. They now have put out all 3 seasons, and there are a ridiculous number of special features. Every episode has a commentary, at least one. There is some other random things thrown on there. Amazing. Kino Lorber also continues to add underseen TV films, and this is one that was made by Tobe Hooper, and it was not able to be seen. There are a lot of made-for-TV films that are just gone at the moment that you cannot access anywhere, and Kino Lorber is one of few that is putting things like that out there, and genuinely appreciate them for that. Next one, I know that we mentioned this with my conversation with Will, but really want to talk about Criterion. So these are 3 of their amazing 2022 releases. Lost Highway, it's not my favorite Lynch. I'm not super into it like others, but it genuinely looks amazing. It's a huge uptick, some great special features, and people can finally stop asking about this one. Arsenic and Old Lace, this was a holdout. Criterion put this out years ago, and now it's finally out on high definition, and the release looks and sounds fantastic. Wonderful release and wonderful film. Takeout from Sean Baker, one of my favorites, and I genuinely love Sean Baker as a director. He is great at what he does. One of my modern favorites, and I am just glad that his stuff is starting to get some boutique attention, not only from Criterion, but also from Second Sight this year in the form of Tangerine. And it is really nice to see, and supposedly there's some more coming from his catalog, so we'll see about that soon. Next up, one that rarely ever gets mentioned, and let's see. These are just 2 of their releases from this year. They were kind of quiet during the early parts of the pandemic, but MVD Rewind continuing to put out some good stuff. We got Vampire's Kiss, Desperate Hours here, and they're releasing some things that were previously out of print, and now they're available for everybody again, like Disturbing Behavior also came out from them. But also, there are things that were never available. Like they put out the film, I think it was called Monday Morning, and it had an alternate title. Don't remember it offhand, but you couldn't get it anywhere. And just to be able to rescue that and give it its first HD life, and maybe even home video life, I don't think I'm remembering all the details properly, but That is incredible, and I appreciate everything that they do. MVD Rewind kind of took it easy for a couple years, and a lot of people started to really not have that trust in them still, but I'm hoping that they have a lot still. We have heard that they are putting out their first 4K soon, in the Return of Swamp Thing, I believe is that one. I talked about a few of the Severin releases in my videos, but two others that were near the end of the year that I just really want to give a special moment to. I Miss You Hugs and Kisses. The fact that they're still able to put out the other video nasties that either don't have any HD releases or just David Gregory trying to collect them all, it is fantastic to see. I'm glad that they're doing it. I'm glad that they are able to keep putting that sort of attention into it. Next one is the 4K release of Four Flies on Grey Velvet. This is the Argento film, rescued and for the first time legally on high definition, but jumped all the way up to 4K. That's pretty remarkable, and it was a we'll say controversial release. There's a lot of people that wanted to complain about that, but the transfer looks amazing. It's a great release. It was an expensive release, but it's 4 discs, has the soundtrack. In my mind, that's pretty impressive. Next company, they did not get a lot of positive attention from me this year, but I did want to shout the fact that Shout Factory and Scream Factory have continued to do some good things throughout the year. I mean, we got Alligator on 4K this year. Can't really complain about that. They are still putting out some unique titles like Alligator and the Company of Wolves. Nice to see those get a new life on home video. However, of course, we are still seeing a lot of re-releases like Black Christmas here. Now, with Black Christmas, the 4K, it looks really good. Believe me, the big uptick is audio, but some of the other 4Ks were not nearly as big of an upgrade, and a lot of people are sort of worried that they are kind of taking it easy and coasting at this point. This might be one of the most impressive releases for a single film ever, and it is large. Ghostwatch from 101 Films. This is only, I think, their second dual region release, where they put it out in region B and they put it out in the UK and in the US. And I mean, this release is thick. It's got multiple books, looks great. Just a wonderful release. They have done some really high quality releases and supplemented with that with some that are a little more budget, but overall some great stuff coming out of them. These next two, before I move on to some of the foreign labels, I really wanted to highlight the consistency of two labels that they get a lot of attention surrounding their announcements and right when there are pickups, but because they don't put out releases every single month, I think that they sort of get hidden, and in my opinion, not at all something that is warranted, because they are some of the best out there. First, Cauldron. Shanghai Joe, Convoy Busters, and the other, like Contraband, came out this year. They have an incredible looking release of City of the Living Dead that is dropping soon, and that's a 4K release. Wonderful quality from them, and obviously they ran from Jesse Nelson, who is from Diabolic, and he knows what people like. He knows a lot about films, and he is genuinely doing some great things with that. The other one, Mondo Macabro, had one of their best years ever. This is the House of Terrors. Okay, so there's a cut there. Had to censor a part out. Could not show the cover of this uncensored. This is a haunted Turkish bathhouse. And even like the horrible sexy vampire, their releases that they're putting out are just like literally one of the highest quality years from Mondo Macabro ever. And when we get in their stuff that was pre-orders for Halloween, I'm very much looking for 2023 to be a huge year for Mondo Macabro. And even more so, the last two companies that I mentioned, Contraband and Mondo Macabro, working together on something completely different, which is going to be Neon Eagle Video and putting out some like trashy Asian action films. And I can't wait to see what else they do. They've announced one title so far, supposedly have a lot more acquired. And yeah, it's going to be a fairly fun and exciting year for those two companies, and then working together on literally a third company. The next one, I've not opened this one because I had the Grindhouse releasing edition of this However, I just want to point out how Indicator is still one of the most consistent boutique labels out there. Their stuff is always high quality. They have great scans. They put a lot of thought and effort into their extras. They're not something that was going to be the best at any of the releases, in my opinion, but they're up there to at least be in the discussion. And most other labels can't even say that. So the fact that they had a low-key year and they were still incredible is an achievement. They are still working on and about to release near the end of January or early February the Michael J. Murphy box set, which is, if I remember right, I think it's 36 films. And I guarantee if that had come out in 2022, this would have been mentioned multiple times over, because that is a masterful achievement. And with that finally in the pipeline after being delayed a couple times, they are supposedly going to be like back with a vengeance, about to announce some things in the next week or two. And I just can't wait to see what 2023 is, because there's some rumors swirling and it sounds pretty exciting. The next one, I don't think I talked enough about Eureka. Eureka put out some incredible releases this year. This is the 4K of The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Eureka is like the Criterion of the UK, but like better quality in my opinion. And not all of their films are like Criterion respect level worthy, but the Masters of Cinema ones definitely are. And then some of the other ones that don't even get that label potentially are as well. Eureka, yeah, solid all around. Really great slate from them this year. I know a lot of people have not been thrilled with the lower number of Masters of Cinema and higher number of Asian cinema that is more like Sammo Hung type things. Just some people that were used to their older output and not thrilled with the direction they're going. I don't buy it. I think it's great that they're doing what they're doing, and I just sincerely hope they continue. Next, Umbrella in Australia. So this release of Martyrs is amazing. The fact that they were able to get the rights to this and put it out for Australian audiences is stupendous. I love the film Martyrs. I have been very happy with the output of Umbrella this year, but again, not like the best of anything, but they are genuinely in the conversation for incredible extras, for really great packaging on some of their films, for just overall really good solid releases. With Umbrella, I really wanted to highlight the Osloitation Classics sublabel. I think that this might be like the most underrated sublabel in all of boutique physical media. It is that good. I love what they put out on that line. Next up, just another incredibly consistent label, and one that is always exciting to follow and puts a spotlight on filmmakers that don't always get it, and in fact may not get it anywhere else in the world. And that is Third Window Films, just always doing a lot with Japanese cinema, and very high quality, pretty much all done by one person, which is astonishing. Love what they do. Just really, really great work overall. Next one, there are some labels from Germany that are doing some really solid work. Wicked Vision does a lot with media books that have incredibly solid transfers, brand new extras, really great booklet. Not all of those things are in English, so I've not been able to appreciate a lot of the extras on Wicked Vision stuff. What I really wanted to highlight is Cook Films, which I believe, or it might be pronounced Cock. Cock Films, which supposedly has transferred over. That's why we have PlayOn, PLAION. Cock may have became PlayOn. PlayOn is the one that put out the astonishing He-Man set at the end of the year. They put out some high quality releases in formats that we didn't get in the US. So, like Alex Garland's Men. This is a UHD release of Men that came out in Germany that the US does not have. The highest that we have in the US is Blu-ray. They also did the same for X from Ty West, and they look good. They genuinely look better than the Blu-ray. So I appreciate that they're able to do this, and these releases are very solid. Next, a fairly prestigious label that just put out some really great things this year, and these two in particular, I feel like they're getting no attention and no love, and they're two of the best movies of all time with two incredible 4K releases. I'm talking about BFI and their release of Get Carter and The Proposition. These are amazing movies, but the 4Ks look great. The packaging is everything that boutique lovers love. Hard box, we got a book with it. It's a 4K release. I mean, what else is there to ask for? These are incredible releases from a really high quality company, and people just seem to sort of be sleeping on it. Next one, I talked about Second Sight a lot, actually, in some of the others videos, talking about like Drive and The Witch and Dog Soldiers getting great releases. What I really wanted to talk about is the fact that they're still willing to show like indies. They put out Bull, they put out A Banquet, they put out a couple others that are like modern indie films, and they are willing to go the extra mile to give them a nice limited edition release. And then, like I said earlier, they put out Sean Baker's Tangerine and just gave that sort of attention to something that was either being overlooked or wasn't being looked at all. So grateful that they're willing to supplement their larger titles with still putting the same care and passion into something like that. Genuinely appreciate that. A label that had a very interesting year because they had some controversy that happened and some incredible releases. I really wanted to touch on 88 Films because they didn't get enough attention from me, and I understand why. None of them are my favorites of the year or mind-blowing or anything like that, but they've done really great stuff. We got a Species box set from them early this year. We got their version of Righting Wrongs, lots of Asian films, lots of just really great attention to detail, and there seems to be a lot of incredible things coming, including their US release of the In the Line of Duty films, which I can't wait for. But they were sort of not the best at much of anything, but still very high quality. And I just think they deserve a mention. I believe I've got everything else. One label left that I really wanted to touch on and make sure it got some attention, because I don't know that I even mentioned them once in any of my other videos. And they still deserve some attention because it's not like they had a god-awful year. I want to give some light to Arrow Video. So this is the what do they actually call it? Gothic Fantastico 4 Italian Tales of Terror box set, and it's a solid box set. It's wonderfully set up. It has got a really nice book, and it's a solid release. They did a handful of really great single film releases, like The Leech was a great release. The Righteous came out this year and was impressive. They had their fair share of things that people didn't like about them, and one of them is their re-releasing films on 4K that they put out on Blu-ray. But I did want to highlight why they're doing that. So like, this is Videodrome, and this release looks incredible. Like this is a giant step up from the Blu-ray release of Videodrome. Granted, the limited edition of this did not keep all of the special features from the Blu-ray release. We got the early films of Cronenberg when we got the Blu-ray release of Videodrome. They unfortunately did not get the ability to carry those over, so those are gone. But it's an incredible release still. It looks really good. And of course, this year, it's not a re-release, but Arrow Video were able to put out one of my favorite films of all time, so I had to mention it. Overall, genuinely, Arrow deserves a lot of love and respect. The big thing that I didn't bring any down to hold or anything like that, but their love and attention to these Dario Argento films that are coming out on 4K is enough alone to talk about their output, because they did a couple this year that look fantastic, better than they've ever looked before, and they are still sort of underappreciated for those. Yes, they took, I think, 2 months off this year, or a month, something like that, where they had two releases or less, and they sort of had a little recharge. And that's because they lost Fran Simeoni, who started Radiance Films, and they had some quality control issues and a lot of other things. But Arrow Video is still doing great things, and I hope that 2023 can come and show everybody that they've still got some amazing releases that are possible. Speaking of Fran Simeoni, I am also very excited to see what Radiance does. And one of the best things about 2022 was the transparency of Radiance Films. Fran has been 100% open and honest the entire time with the struggles, with the attention to detail, with everything that he did for Radiance. And it has been an incredible journey to see him from start to just in the last 10 days. People are getting the first releases from Radiance, and they are essentially saying that they are incredible. Like, amazing releases, great special features. The transfers look just top notch. I can't imagine what Radiance is going to look like a year from now if they're able to keep this quality up. And Fran was just a huge part of Arrow, and I can understand why it likely affected Arrow quite a bit when he stepped away. That is it. I don't have anything else that I really wanted to highlight too much, and I still probably forgot like 14 things that I should have. But it was an astonishing year, a remarkable year for physical media. I'm very happy with the releases that we got, and the continuing just onslaught of releases from these like 90 boutique labels that are out there and fairly active. And that number is not an exaggeration. There's close to that many out there, legitimately. I mean, there's just at OCN, there's what, 23? So that's a third of them almost right there. It is amazing to see the continued efforts of these restoration companies, these boutique labels, these companies that are putting packaging on a studio disc, however you want to look at some of these releases. They're doing great things and continuing to spread the love of film and art with the globe. And I'm just happy to be a small part of it and be able to share it with you. I hope that you would share some of the other honorable mentions that you had, maybe things that are glaring omissions that I never brought up once. I'd love to hear it. Let me know in the comments below. And in the meantime, I'm just looking forward to 2023, spending it with you guys and doing what I can to be a small member of the physical media community. And from one collector, summing up an entire year, to all of you, have a good night.